Hello and welcome back to Focus. With a landmark court case hitting the headlines, I would like to keep in the spirit of climate change and help raise the level of awareness. And I'd like to talk about a few past events as well, or what I could say ongoing persistently is the snowstorms, flooding, and tornadoes that's been happening in America recently, above many things. Also, England or the UK tested out its emergency alert system. Now, in light of Vladimir Putin's recent announcement that he's going to be moving some of his hypersonic missiles to Belarus, and North Korea's Kim Jong-un showcasing basically his country's nuclear capabilities, and I can go as far as saying China more or less not backing down and having some serious issues towards the West, or should I say simply standing up for itself after many years. Well, these and a few more things. Once again, welcome back to Focus, and thanks for tuning in. In a first of its kind landmark court case, a group of over 2,000 women are suing the Swiss government over climate change. Now, I know Women's History Month has passed, but in my final tribute to it, I would like to talk about this story. A group of over 2,000 women who call themselves the Club of Climate Seniors, with an average age of 73 years between them, have fought for 6 long years to finally have their case heard in the European Court of Human Rights, in, as I said before, a first of its kind landmark court case, arguing that rising temperatures are affecting, or in other words, breaching their human rights. Now, it's no secret that temperatures are rising. A number of factors make that evident, with heat affecting the public health of the general public all over the world. In the last 20 years, mortality rates in Europe for people over 65 have increased by more than 30% due to rising temperatures and the increased number of heat waves with increasing frequency and intensity. Last year, the UK saw a temperature of 40 degrees with one of its highest heat waves. In France, over 2,800 deaths were attributed to over 3 heat waves last year. With also, the Swiss government has or doesn't deny and acknowledges that climate change can affect the health of people, though it can't be directly linked to older women. So, given the fact that the European Climate Observatory have said that predicted increase in average temperatures are most likely to affect public health all over Europe, especially or particularly among elderly people. Now, I'm sure these women are armed with these facts and a lot more, because last year was, let's say besides the pandemic, it was an epidemic of natural disasters. Now, if these women are successful, this case will set a precedent for every other member of the European Union, in the sense that people from all over in its member states will be able to actually take their governments to court in the fact that their climate change policies are severely inadequate. Like I said before, rather than making any moves forward, we're taking 3 steps forward. No, sorry, we're taking 1 step forward and 3 steps back. So me addressing this is my attempt to raise the level of awareness towards climate change. Like I said, the world is an amazing place. The fact that these women have taken the amazing step forward to fight and get this case heard in a major court is, what can I say, remarkable. So next up, I'd like to talk about the emergency warning system that was just tested in the UK. The United Kingdom will test its first nationwide emergency alert system on the 23rd of April, Sunday, St. George's Day, in what some, or I might even say many, are calling Armageddon alerts. Many countries suffer their own forms of disasters, with many of them presenting in many different ways. So pretty much all of them have learned to develop ways of communicating these emergencies, with many of them still using what is or was widely known as air raid sirens. Since World War II, as of last year, there were still over 1,000 sirens still existing in the UK, with some still used to warn the local residents of severe flooding. Now, there are many ways, as I said, that people use these systems, and they are used. But you'd be surprised to know that a country as big as the UK does not have a national system. I mean, besides the local weather alert, which ranges from many different forms, just like everywhere else in the world. But similar systems used in America, Canada, Netherlands, and Japan are finally catching on, because with the level of tornadoes, obviously, that's currently hitting America, we need these early warning systems now more than ever. Between hurricanes, tsunamis, and even earthquakes, many of these emergency alert systems exist. The UK itself, however, has not got one. So as of last year, they carried out a few tests in regards to this new emergency alert system. So they had one on the 25th of May 2021, sorry, not last year, 29th of June 2021, and they carried out one this year, April 4th. Now, the previous tests were carried out using a 3G network, so every existing compatible connected device would have received an alert. And as of the most recent one on Tuesday or April, they would have received a more updated one, due to the fact that they are no longer currently using the 3G network. So the new one would have been sent out on a 4 and 5G network. So what I'm going to do is just read a couple of transcripts, or read directly from the government website, just to let you know what the emergency alerts are about, how they work, and just so you know about emergency alerts. All 4 UK nations on Sunday the 23rd of April 2023, there will be a national test of the UK Emergency Alert Service. Emergency alerts is a government service that will warn you if there is a danger to life nearby. In an emergency, your mobile phone or tablet will receive an alert with advice about how to stay safe. The government does not need to know your phone number or location to send you an alert. Reasons you might get an alert. You may get alerts about severe flooding, fires, extreme weather. Emergency alerts will only be sent by the emergency services, government departments, agencies, and public bodies that deal with emergencies. What happens when you get an emergency alert? Your mobile phone or tablet may read out the alert, vibrate, make a loud siren-like sound even if it's set on silent. The sound and vibration will last for about 10 seconds. An alert will include a number or link to the government UK website for more information. You'll get alerts based on your current location, not where you live or work. You do not need to turn on location services to receive alerts. What you need to do. When you get an alert, stop what you're doing and follow the instructions in the alert. If you're driving or riding when you get an alert, you should not read or otherwise respond to an emergency alert whilst driving or riding a motorcycle. If you are driving, you should continue to drive and not respond to the noise or attempt to pick up the mobile phone and deal with the message. Find somewhere safe and legal to stop before reading the message. If there is nowhere safe or legal to stop close by and nobody else in the vehicle to read the alert, tune into live radio and wait for bulletins until you can find somewhere safe and legal to stop. It is illegal to use a handheld device while driving or riding. If you cannot receive emergency alerts, if you do not have a compatible device, you'll still be informed about an emergency. The emergency services have other ways to warn you when there is a threat to life. Emergency alerts will not replace local news, radio, television, or social media. If you're deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or partially sighted, if you have a vision or a hearing impairment, audio and vibration attention signals will let you know you have an emergency alert. Alert languages. Emergency alerts will be sent in English. In Wales, they may also be sent in Welsh. How emergency alerts work. In an emergency, mobile phone masts in the surrounding area will broadcast an alert. Every compatible mobile phone or tablet in range of a mast will receive the alert. Emergency alerts work on all 4G and 5G networks in the UK. Your mobile phone or tablet does not have to be connected to mobile data or Wi-Fi to get alerts. Emergency alerts are free. You do not need to sign up for them or download an app. Reasons you will not get an alert. You will not receive alerts if your device is turned off or in airplane mode, connected to a 2G or 3G network, Wi-Fi only or not compatible. Compatible mobile phones and other devices. Make sure your device has all the latest software updates. Emergency alerts work on iPhones running iOS 14.5 or later, Android phones and tablets running Android 11 or later. If you have an earlier version of Android, you may still be able to receive alerts. To check, search your device settings for emergency alerts. If you want to see an alert again. To see an alert again, go to the current alerts or past alerts. You can also search for emergency alerts on your mobile phone or tablet. If you get reminders about an alert, Android phones and tablets may get more than one reminder about the same emergency alert. You can turn these reminders off through the emergency alert settings on your device. Opting out of emergency alerts. You can opt out of emergency alerts, but you should keep them switched on for your own safety. To opt out, search your settings for emergency alerts, turn off severe alerts and extreme alerts. If you still get alerts, contact your device manufacturer for help. Your personal data. The emergency services and the UK government do not need your phone number to send you an alert. Data about you or your device location will not be collected or shared. Now, like I said, there's many reasons why the UK of all countries should have a national warning system towards flooding, which they do see a lot of. But in this case, like I mentioned before, the fact that there's an increasing nuclear presence on the world stage, I think the time is a little short and they're a little, slow off the mark. But as I mentioned, with the glowing nuclear arms race between China, North Korea, and obviously Russia, that's a next topic I'm gonna take on. China accuses the West of starting a new global arms race. On Tuesday, the 14th of March, 11 a.m. 2023, the UK, US, and Australia have agreed a deal to provide nuclear-powered attack submarines from 2030, a move that has angered China. Now, this is a result of the AUKUS submarine deal, or the AUKUS Pact. And if you didn't know, the AUKUS agreement or the AUKUS Pact is a trilateral defense agreement between Australia, the UK, and US. Now, what they have effectively done is say that they are going to provide, the UK and US are going to provide Australia with nuclear submarines. And in turn, as far as China's concerned, they are starting what they see, or they are breaking what they see as nuclear proliferation laws. Now, in any case, honestly, I find it a little funny that China, of all countries, would even accuse the West of such a thing, considering that between themselves and Russia are the ones who kind of hold all the power, in the sense that they are the ones who have developed and currently own, how can I say this, effectively operating hypersonic missiles. The US did and has announced that they are, or they have, or were unsuccessful in their own hypersonic missile tests. But yet still, the fact that a nuclear submarine can go undetected and does not require as much fuel, i.e. a diesel, it means that the US, the UK, and Australia's nuclear strike capabilities with this new offensive agreement will be worrying to China, understandably. But I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, considering that King Kim Jong-un himself also debuted more or less what I would say is his own tactical warheads, and he's said that he can deploy them on shorter range missiles, which is very worrying, because what he's saying is that he can deploy them towards South Korea or US forces stationed around the Korean peninsula. Now, understandably, between the multiple missile tests that North Korea does on a regular basis, which always worries the surrounding nations, especially the US, just looking from the outside, from the offshore. In any case, it's always concerning knowing that if one of these missiles, be it a full-scale, full-yield missile or a tactical small-yield missile, goes off, the ramifications of such an event will be understandably something we don't particularly want to see. And considering Russia has said, or should I say Putin says, Moscow is going to place nuclear weapons in Belarus, the US is also, being a little, how can I say this, cautious, because obviously Russia having placed its hypersonic missiles in any other place but Russia, means the strike time or the travel time in between, impact is lessened. Now, obviously, there is nothing wrong with this really on the world scale, because countries like America and the UK do the same thing, in the sense that Europe has, or the UK has, nuclear missile station across Europe. Vice versa, the US has missiles stationed across its nation or sistering states. And either way you look at it, it's not a direct violation. So in any case, as always with what we call our world laws, there's always what every good lawyer knows, if anything, is that there's a loophole to get you past these little things. So being able to do that, or doing such a thing, as always, Putin and Russia is sending a clear message to NATO over its military support for Ukraine and escalating a standoff with the West, pretty much. But nuclear power seems like a really bad thing, but you know what? It's really intriguing. So I think on a further episode, I'm gonna go into it, the good, the bad, and the amazingly out of this world possible. So, in what will soon be remembered or recalled as the March outbreak, America has seen a level of devastation through tornadoes that is unlike anything it's used to. And my thoughts are with the many survivors and those who are not here with us today. And in light of the fact that there are many tornado warnings still going out across the country, I would like to address this or talk about it in another episode. Once again, to the many survivors who are beginning rebuilding efforts, and to towns that have been lost or look like they have been completely wiped off the map, at least there are stories of true heroism, in the sense that a husband was able to save his wife's life by holding on to her instead of her getting sucked out through the tornado. Once again, my thoughts are with all those who have been affected, and obviously stay tuned to all the weather alerts, emergency alerts, and I really hope that you have somewhere that you can get to in case of one of these emergencies. I hope you have a basement or a storm shelter, or you have one that's nearby. In any case, thoughts and prayers. Take care. For links to the articles, check out the episode description. If you want to leave a comment, check out the trailer description for the email address. For topics like these and more, check out future episodes. Like I said, the world is an amazing place. There's a lot going on, and sometimes we just need to take a moment to focus.